Hello and welcome. So we're going to be answering this question: where does the following equation intercept the x-axis? Then we're given the equation and we have a bunch of multiple choice answers here. So first off, when we're looking at this one, I'd say, all right, well, x-axis, where do we have intercepts the x-axis? Well, those are going to be what we call x-intercepts. Okay, if you have any point that crosses the x-axis, that particular point where it crosses at, right, anywhere where it crosses the x-axis, we're going to call those x-intercepts. And how we will always write an x-intercept will be some x value, comma 0, which you'll notice is true for all of your points in that list. Well, how do we find them? There's a couple of ways we could do it. First off, let's talk about x-intercepts for a hot second. There are a couple of ways to talk about x-intercepts in mathematics. There are 4 words, x-intercepts being one of them, that all mean the exact same thing. You have x-intercepts, you have solutions, zeros, and roots. Maybe, hopefully, 1 or 2 of those seem familiar to you, but if not, it's okay, right? Main one is solution. A solution to an equation is actually an x-intercept, right? The only difference between these 4 words is essentially the notation, how we write them. Okay, now situationally, what you're looking for, one will be better than another. In this particular case, solutions will help us find the bare minimum of what we need for the x-intercepts. So that's all right. Well, let's look at this one. We know an x-intercept is written as x comma 0, where every point is x comma y, which means your y is 0. Well, in this equation, your f of x, that's your y. So if we set our y, our f of x, to 0, 0 equals x squared minus 11x plus 24. All right. And then from there, I'd say, okay, well, let's solve the equation. Now, because we have the square here, there's a couple ways to do it. You could, 1, start by trying to factor. You could, 2, try your quadratic formula. Or you could try completing the square. Now, there's technically a 4th method, solving by square root, but that doesn't actually apply here, and thus we'll stick to our 3 methods. So I personally like factoring the most, so I'm going to factor. Okay, can you solve it by other methods? Yes. Quadratic formula completing the square totally works here. Alrighty, so I look at this one, I'd say, first thing to factoring is to check for a GCF. Do we have one? No, right? There's no number that x squared, negative 11x, and 24 have in common other than a 1, right? But pulling out a 1 won't change anything, so no GCF. So then we would factor, and I'd say, right, middle number is a negative 11, first number is a 1, and 1 times 24, 24. So I think, okay, what are 2 numbers that multiplied to a 24, yet they combine to become a negative 11? Well, 1 multiplies to 24, we got 3 and 8. And if both of them happen to be negative, negative 3 minus 8 is negative 11. Negative 3 times negative 8, positive 24. And those are our 2 numbers. Yay! Okay, and because we have a positive 1, and only because a positive 1 is our leading coefficient, that means that we can go straight into our factors. So then we have 0 equals our 2 numbers we just found, negative 3 and negative 8. Oops. Oh, we already have equals 0. Okay, and then you have your factors. And then your last step to solving by factoring is to set each one of those parentheses to 0. Alright, and how we solve the equation, add 3 to both sides, x is 3. Other one, add 8 to both sides, we get 8. So 3 and 8 are your solutions. Now, that's all well and good. But solutions, you'll notice, this looks different than these. Well, remember, we write an x-intercept as x comma 0. Whatever the x value is, which we just said were 3 and 8, comma 0. So that means that we have 3 comma 0 and 8 comma 0. Those are your x-intercepts. Is there any one of these that have 8 comma 0 and 3 comma 0? Yeah, that's this middle one right here. And this would be your answer to the problem. Alright, thank you for watching. Have a great day.